hopefully we can answer any and all questions that may come up during the training. But for now, we'll go ahead and get started with adding events to your site, followed by adding news articles, and then talk a little bit more about updating your campers and fosters. If at any point during the webinar you have any questions, please enter them into the question box there, and we will answer them between each section. So what you should be viewing now, if everyone can see my screen, is probably what you see when you log in to iAPPS. So this is your dashboard. When we go in to edit or add events, it's under menus and pages, and this is my demo site that I've logged into. So under menus and pages, global navigation, events and communities, I'm going to scroll down a little bit here, and then under events, you'll see a few different pieces here that have been added, including one event by me. So when you add an event, it's going to be in that events category, or this events node right here. You're going to click Add New. And then we're going to go ahead and name our page and select our template. So let's, for this sample one, let's holiday reservations will be my subject or my page title. And then I'm going to select event detail as my template. So T10 event detail. I'm then going to say save and view in editor down there at the bottom. And this will bring me to my page to create my event. So on this page, this is a brand new event detail page. The first thing you're going to do is where this says insert content definition, you're going to click on this pencil and create a content definition. This is for the main piece of your event. Under content type, you're going to select events. And then all we need to do here are fill out the applicable fields. So if we're titling this holiday reservations, as a reminder, you can add your description. If you have an image, you can click on the image box right there, go into your image library and select any images that you have uploaded, or you can also, under your drop down here, go to franchise model and select any of those images as well. I think Ethan covered that in some previous trainings. I'm going to go ahead and select an image by clicking on that image and then saying select image, and you'll now see these cute little guys pop up there. Now this is another piece to select your start and end date. Now if this is a one-day event, you can definitely select that. I'm actually going to start my event on the 16th at 7 a.m. So that's when we're going to start accepting reservations. And obviously this is hypothetical. And then let's select up through, we'll accept reservations through for the holidays through the 23rd of December at 7, let's make this p.m. So from 7 a.m. on the 16th of November through 7 p.m. on the 23rd of December, we'll be accepting holiday reservations. Location name, this could be the name of your location. If you have, if you're holding a yappy hour, it could be a different location, or whatever that location is. So I'm going to say Camp Bow Wow demo, because this is my demo site. You could say Camp Bow Wow Broomfield or Denver Lodo, or whatever that, whatever your location is. Include the address. This is just the one I know off the top of my head, so that your attendees know where they're going. If your event calls for registration, you can click this box, and then you can also include your third-party registration URL, and also if there's a registration page that you need to direct them to, you can include those as well. Those are optional fields that you do not need to include, but definitely have the capability to include. I'm now going to hit save because I've completed all the information I have. It's going to ask me to save this event. I'm going to select my events content folder and name this, holiday reservations. There we go. And I'm going to go ahead and say select directory. It's going to pop up that reminder. So now I have the basis of my event created. Down below here, I can then give more details, right? So if there's an agenda, an overview of the event, whatever those pieces are that you need to give more information on. So what I'm going to do here is similar to your service pages. This will be that tabbed interface, right? So it could be an agenda on one tab, an overview on another tab. So what you're going to want to do is click on this link container. You're going to click change link. Link title, I'm just going to make this overview. Again, similar to your services page, just put this hashtag right there. Not a problem. It's going to create that title for you. And then in this text box, I can create new text. I can pull text from my library that I've already saved, whatever those pieces are that you need to present to your customers and any other information about this event. So again, it can be, this is my overview for my event. We'll just type in some random content here. I'm going to go ahead and save as, because this is new content. Again, I'll save it in my events folder. Give that a name and select directory. Now you will be able to, if you have more than one tab, you can definitely create those tabs down here. So if you had an agenda, you can again change your link, create your agenda, and create that link. So now, if I were to go and view this live, I would have those two links. So if this is the extent of your event, everything looks good to you, you can go ahead and submit into workflow. Okay? I'm not going to do that, so I can cut down on Christy and Julie's work in improving pages. But those are the steps you would take to create an event. At that point, you can then, I created an event yesterday, so I'm going to go ahead and I will show you what that looks like. I'm going to leave the page, which essentially erases my, oops, that. There we go. That erased any of that event that I just created because I didn't save anything. But we can go into menus and pages, and you'll be able to see the event that I created yesterday. One more down here. There we go. On events, I'm going to go ahead and edit this page, and you'll be able to see the events that have been created. All right, so upcoming, you'll see in November, last night I created Thanksgiving for the pups. And that automatically will populate onto your page. Okay. It looks like we have a few questions, so I'm going to go ahead and field those right now. So questions from Jordana. Submitting into workflow, how did that include both the holiday reservations and the holiday content pieces? Yes, that would be for the entire page that was submitted. So yeah, that is correct. Any other questions about creating, there we go, a couple more questions. From Michelle, am I able to create recurring events? Not at this time, but we can definitely look at that in the future, Michelle. And from Samuel, is there a way to go directly to the second tab? For example, if I have an overview tab and a detail tab, can I display the content of the detail tab page for the user, or must they always see the overview tab and then click the details? They'll always see the overview tab first and then click on details. Any other questions for creating an event? Do you have to have events organized into months? From Elizabeth. Right now, the way the page is set up, yes, it is organized into months. Okay. Any other questions around events? All right. So we're going to go ahead and move on to creating a news article. I think for some reason when I jump back, I'm getting a problem here. We'll take a look at that. All right. From menus and pages, again, we're going to go ahead and create our news article. This is very similar to creating an event. Under About Us, you're going to see our newsroom. The one difference here is the way it displays once you've created this. So I'm going to go ahead, create new or add new here. What we're creating is a news detail page. Since it's Veterans Day, I'm going to go ahead and create a Veterans Pup news article. In your template drop-down, you're going to scroll down until you find T16A news detail. Select that template, and then you can save and view in editor. Okay, so very much like our events page, you have insert content definition. You're going to go ahead and say create new, or create new content definition. Under content type, select news. All right, and then we're just going to fill in these blanks just like we did for our event detail. So the title, when you want that to publish. If this was in the past, you could post date it. Since it's today, I'm going to go ahead and select today's date. If we have an image, again, I can search for that image, find it in either my folders or, again, the franchise. Go ahead and select that. This short description, this should be almost a teaser text, kind of that main headline. So then in our long description, this will be your main body text. I know there is a sample press release, so very much the way that is constructed, we'll just have, you can have paragraph after paragraph of information. It's the same editor that you can use, so you can insert images. I'm just going to go ahead and post some basic information there so you can get that idea. And then we're just going to go ahead and save. Again, this is where we're going to save our news article. Doesn't look like I have a news set up, so I'm just going to name it here, and then I'll select my directory. And there you go. We have our news article, and everything should be good. Again, we can go ahead and submit that into workflow. and follow that same process. On the news listing page, it will pull into that listing page as well so that your article will appear there without any issues. All right. Again, I'm going to go ahead and look at our questions and see what else we have. So in our questions, is the news what we will be using for our new newsletters? And I believe either Christy or Julie are on the line, but your newsletters are actually going to be sent out through a marketeer program, so an email program. Will be handling those newsletters for you. I'm sure we could also post those newsletters into the news area if that's what you like. Chrissy, I don't know if you're on the line. Is anything else around that?
Yeah, I think the posting your newsletter in the newsroom section is a good idea so that people can go back and see previous news articles, or newsletters, sorry.
Okay, great. Any other questions around creating your news? And I should have mentioned this earlier. All of these topics are covered in the user scenarios. So you can go back and look at the user scenarios if you have any questions as well. We'll also post up this video. All right, it looks like I have another question here from Darla. Is there a new newsletter builder? So when we send those out via email, Christy has been sending those newsletters to you that way. They're showing up in your marketeer. Christy, I don't know if you'll also be doing the newsletter templates into the content management system, or is it just going into marketeer?
Sorry, I was talking on mute. They're just going into marketeer.
Okay. All right. So we can probably pull that content from marketeer into the CMS. We'll just need to look at how we want to do that. Chris asks, yeah, Chris, you were just wondering where we can find the recordings. I'll show that at the end of our webinar today. And then, Shell, you want to know where is the marketeer that we're talking about? That's actually a good topic for Friday's webinar. I think we're going through all the emails on Friday, but it should you should also have access to marketeer when you log in. Let me just, I will pull this up right now. So when you're logged in to your instance of iAPPS, you should have a marketeer link right here, and you can jump into the emails from there. Okay? But again, that's a topic that we're going to be discussing on Friday, and I know that a couple of those are covered in our user scenarios as well. Any other questions around creating a news article or kind of the follow-up from those pieces? Oh, I do have another question. Hold on just a second here. Oh, Jordana, yes, I will definitely ask Christy or Julie to add you to emails around the website and the PAC news. So any questions that come in during these webinars, I should also let you know, are being sent over to the Camp Bow Wow team at corporate so that they have a record of the questions, and then if there's anything they need to follow up on, they can do so from there. Let's go ahead and talk about editing our featured campers and any of our foster dogs. So unfortunately, my demo site does not have those pages on it, so I'm going to jump into another site here that I know has those. So under our global navigation, we're going to go into About Us. And nope, I am incorrect. Sorry. Look at this enough times and it's going to mess me up. Under Events and Community, you'll see that we have featured campers and also foster dogs. These are essentially managed the same way. So I'm going to go into featured campers. I'm going to go ahead and click on that and edit page. You can also get to this, you know, if you're already logged in and seeing the home page, you can go under events and community and go, oops, sorry, to featured campers as well to navigate. I know Ethan's been showing you guys that way. As I scroll down, you're going to see that we have some test or placeholder content for you. Here's Fluffy, the sweetest pup, who is our featured camper. And also there's a templated one as well that you can then pick up. So I'm going to go ahead over here and I'm going to click on the pencil and I'm going to say edit text. From here, so after I click edit text, you're going to see this WYSIWYG pop up. I know one of the things Ethan is a big proponent of is making sure you pin this so it always follows you on your scroll. This table has been formatted for you. So if you need to replace the dog's image, if you need to update text, just make sure you're staying within here. So I'm going to go scroll down here and I can replace this image very simply by clicking on my image library, which is in my editor here. I'm going to say insert image from library. Again, you can go ahead, and this is actually this is the franchise model site I'm in right now. So you'd be able to see all of your images, and these would be your images, right, that you've already uploaded. So we give the dimension. If I want to look at featured camper, oops, maybe under foster dogs. Here's an image that's already at the right size of 250 by 300. I'm going to go ahead and say select image, and that just automatically populates. So I highly recommend making sure your images are the right size so you don't have to do anything. Now here under dog name, we're going to rename Fluffy to be Scruffy. So here's my new dog, Scruffy. I'm going to capitalize that. And we now have November, so I'm going to highlight this and update this to be November. And then you can fill in all these details right here. So Fluffy is 6 years old, and she is, I don't know what she is, she's mixed breed. And then you can talk about the dog's personality, you know, anything about their demeanor. I recommend highlighting and typing over this information. Another cool thing that we've set up for you guys is see how there's this space underneath your bottom one. So for foster dogs, this is probably more important than for featured campers. But we've created what's called a code snippet. And in your editor here, there's this code snippet, right? So it's this, what is that, the fourth from the right button. I'm going to go ahead and click that. And what you're going to see is we've created a snippet of text that is either for featured pet, foster dog, for your team members. So for those of you who were on the call on Monday, we can now insert these predefined areas, right? So this is featured pet. I'm going to go ahead and select that and click insert, and that's just going to create a new one for me right there, and I don't have to worry about formatting, copying and pasting, anything that could get messed up. So that's going to be right there for me all along. So that's pretty cool. I kind of like that. Again, after you update this, remember that you have taken master copy, you've updated it. So we're going to do a save as for this piece of content. Again, it's going to pull up your content library, save it as, you know, I think this is in events and communities. Featured campers, we're going to save our content here. Select your directory. And then again, you can submit that into workflow and have corporate approve it. Does that make sense? Any questions about featured campers? Yes, we have a couple questions. First, Shell asked the question, is there a document that explains what each template is used for? Shell, that'll be up on your support site over the weekend, and you can definitely refer to it there. Joe asks, are we able to archive our campers of the month, or is there a place where campers can see previous campers of the month? That's a good question. I don't know, Christy, have you guys talked about archiving or having another page? You could always create another page for previous campers of the month. I don't think we have one of those at this point. It's more of a current camper of the month, but any of this content you could also archive. So that is a possibility, Joe.
Meredith, couldn't you also insert the new campers at the top of the section so that it's in
reverse chronological? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so we would have reverse chronological. Yep. Jordana asked, hold on just a second. Jordana, I'll pull back up your question. Hold on. Sorry about that. Let's see. Sorry, I jumped out of order here. I don't know why that is not pulling up for me. Jordana, I think your question was, how do we know when corporate has approved the items in workflow? The page will appear as published. Chrissy, I think the turnaround time that you guys are looking at is 24 hours between when it's submitted, right, and published?
Correct.
Okay. All right. Perfect. All right. So then I'm going to go ahead and just one more. Oh, no. I think I've got them all. All right. All right, so we're going to go ahead and jump into foster dogs, and you'll see for these foster dog pages, it's almost exactly like your featured campers. So again, it's just the information and how that's presented. So when we're on this page, we're going to go ahead and edit. So edit text. And you'll see, like, when we were looking at that, that was off to the right-hand side. So it'll do that again after you've saved it. But this way, you have age and breed. Adoption information has been added here. So this is very similar to your featured campers. We've just added in adoption information. Or I believe for home buddies, it's featured home buddies instead of campers. But adoption information can be seen here. So if you need to add in a phone number or an email address for someone to contact that adoption, the shelter, the rescue, the person who is fostering them, that information would be there. And again, very simply, highlight your text and replace it. You can put the phone number in. You can link to that site as well. So if you'll remember from when we went through training earlier, if you want to create a link to, oops, I must have unpinned my editor. Hold on just a second. There we go. Let's see if this pins. There we go. So let's say we want to link to Furry Friends Rescue. We're going to go up here into our link manager, select Hyperlink Manager, which is the globe with the link, and you can link to that rescue from here so that if someone is interested in the dog, they can go right there. And I don't know if this is actually an email address or a website, but we're going to pretend it is. Now, one thing I will mention is for your target, I would always do a new window because this would take them away from that site. And then click OK, and that is now a link off to Furry Friends Rescue. Again, you'll save as and then submit into workflow as you have been doing for your content. Very similar to your campers. I think you guys will probably get the hang of those two pretty quickly. They're just using the editor. So any questions around, I know we're right at the hour here, so for the half-hour time frame. Any questions for this fosters? Mary asks, will the snippet resize photos or do the photos have to be the correct size? We recommend that they're the correct size before you insert them, just for consistency purposes. All right. Other questions that you guys might have? Sherry, is there a way to receive some type of notification when the content is approved? I can definitely look into that for you, Sherry. I know we have some notifications. Let me double check on that. Elizabeth asked, after you save a page, content item, or image into a library, can you later change which node it is located in? For a page, Liz, yes, you can. For an image, no, you can't, because iAPPS looks at that image path. So for a page or content item, yes. Images, no. iAPPS references that image path when it is displaying that image, so you can't relocate that. Other questions that you guys may have in general over the topics we talked about today? All right. If not, we'll go ahead and end this. We will have one more question. Oh, okay. Shannon, if you want to send your question into the support site, actually, someone did ask if I can show the support site. Let me pull that up really quick for you guys. So the support site is a great resource for you. These are where we are posting all of our webinars and your user guides and everything there. So please use the support site. It's support.campbowwow.iapps.com. Easy to add that /support. And you'll see there are help videos. There's an email address and a phone number to call if you have any questions as well. The user guide, the latest one, is posted here for franchise owners, your use cases. And then we'll also have that template guide up as well. So that'll be posted over the weekend. All right, I have another question. All right, any other questions? Anything else that you guys have? Oh, Chris wants to know how to find the recordings. Sorry, Chris, that was your question. They are on this site as well. I believe they're all the way down here. So this is from the recorded webinar down here. So yes, Wednesdays was awards and testimonials. So what we've done is broken that up. So you have your awards and testimonials and then attributes, hours, and geolocation. So these are all the recorded webinars that we'll post. They break them into the sections. So from today, you'll have probably news and events and then campers and fosters. Okay? Any other questions that you guys have? There are a lot of videos out there to help if you need it as well. If there aren't any other questions, we'll go ahead and close down, and we'll get this recording posted up for you guys as soon as we can. Okay?